The first thing you need to know is that nobody in Cyprus that morning expected Hollywood royalty to quietly walk into a centuries-old stone church perched on a hillside, let alone witness what would soon leave their mouths hanging open. Denzel Washington, yes, the Oscar-winning actor known for his commanding presence on screen, somehow managed to slip into the Mediterranean island unnoticed. No paparazzi trailing him, no glossy vacation headlines waiting at the airport. This wasn't a leisure trip, nor was it a film shoot. It was a pilgrimage. And what happened next has already been called everything from divine intervention to the greatest hoax of the decade. Whatever you believe, you'll find it hard to look away from the story that unfolded inside that church. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The story begins in a quiet Cypriot village where life moves slowly, where neighbors greet each other with warm nods, and where local legends are passed down like heirlooms. The church in question wasn't a glamorous cathedral. It was humble, aged, and whispered to house a relic tied to biblical prophecy. Generations had heard stories of the relic's mysterious power, of an awakening that would occur when someone of immense spiritual significance appeared before it. For most locals, it was folklore that flavored their childhood. For others, it was a sacred truth waiting to be fulfilled. Imagine their surprise when the man walking up the ancient steps that day was not a patriarch, not a priest, not even a known religious figure, but Denzel Washington himself. People recognized him immediately. Some gasped, others whispered, and a few fumbled for their phones, unsure if this was real or some elaborate prank. Denzel, however, didn't play to the crowd. He walked straight inside, calm, reverent, and purposeful. If you've ever seen him in a role where his quiet intensity fills the room, this was that energy, only this time it wasn't a performance. He slipped into a pew, bowed his head, and let the service continue. And then, at a moment so simple it almost seemed ordinary, he rose, walked forward, and knelt before the relic. The room held its breath. Witnesses later described the silence as thicker than air, the kind of pause that makes you acutely aware of your own heartbeat. Then it happened. The relic, which had sat dull and unremarkable for centuries, began to glow. Not a sharp spotlight beam, not a trick of flickering candles, but a soft, ethereal radiance that bathed the church in warm light. Children cried out. Elders clutched their chests. Phones rose shakily in the air, trying to capture what was unfolding. Some swore the glow seemed to pulse with Denzel's whispered prayers, growing brighter with each word. And just like that, the story leaped beyond the walls of the church and into the headlines of the world. Now here's where the debate begins. Was this a miracle or was it masterful illusion? Skeptics immediately questioned how such a phenomenon could conveniently occur when a world-famous actor happened to be present. Was there a hidden lighting rig? Could the relic have been rigged to glow as part of a staged spectacle? And if so, who stood to gain from it? Others countered that no amount of stagecraft could recreate what was seen. The hushed awe, the inexplicable timing, the sheer scale of emotion that swept through the congregation. Believers claimed it was prophecy fulfilled, that Denzel was chosen, a vessel to reveal something greater than himself. For those who want evidence, the grainy phone footage circulating online only adds to the mystery. The light appears real, but the more you watch, the more you wonder. Denzel himself only added fuel to the fire by doing nothing at all. He didn't call a press conference, didn't post on social media, didn't offer a statement beyond his silent presence. He left Cyprus as quietly as he arrived, offering no explanation. And yet, isn't that silence louder than any words? In a world where celebrities capitalize on every moment, his refusal to exploit this has only deepened the intrigue. What does it say about a man who, instead of selling the story, simply lets it live on in the whispers and shouts of others? Perhaps he understands that mystery is more powerful than certainty. Or perhaps he himself is still grappling with what happened. The global conversation spiraled quickly. Religious leaders from different faiths weighed in, some hailing it as a modern miracle, others dismissing it as misinterpreted symbolism. Political pundits latched onto it, using it as a metaphor for hope, unity, or even manipulation depending on their angle. Cultural commentators debated whether Hollywood had any business intersecting with matters of sacred prophecy. And at the heart of it all stood one man, known more for his film roles than his faith, caught in the eye of a storm he never publicly claimed. So what do we make of it? If you strip away the spectacle, what remains is the image of a man, alone in prayer, seeking connection with something beyond himself. Isn't that something we all do in our own ways? Perhaps not in ancient churches with relics and legends, but in quiet corners of our bedrooms, in long drives where we spill our worries to the sky, in moments of crisis when we whisper pleas we're not sure anyone hears. What made this moment extraordinary was not only the light but the collective recognition that someone, even someone as untouchable as a Hollywood star, was doing something deeply human, searching for the divine. Think about the symbolism here. Cyprus, a place of crossroads between cultures and histories, becomes the backdrop. A relic, dormant for centuries, comes alive at the touch of faith. An actor whose career is built on embodying strength and conviction chooses silence instead of spectacle. Doesn't that stir something in you, whether you believe in miracles or not? It's less about proving what happened and more about asking what it means. Could it be that sometimes the story matters more than the evidence? That what people choose to believe shapes reality as much as the raw facts themselves? And here's where it circles back to us. Why did this story go viral? Why are people across continents debating whether it was real? Because at its core, it speaks to our hunger for wonder. In a world dominated by cynicism, politics, and endless streams of content, we crave the unexplainable, the magical, the reminder that there's still mystery left in life. Maybe that's why people want to believe that light filled that church. Maybe it's why they want to believe Denzel Washington, of all people, was the chosen vessel. And maybe, just maybe, the real miracle is not what happened that morning, but the way it reignited imagination in millions. So the question lingers, what would you have done if you were there? Would you have pulled out your phone to capture proof? Or would you have dropped it in awe to experience the moment? Would you have run out to tell the world, or stayed behind in silence, hoping to hold onto the sacred for yourself? These questions don't have simple answers, but they invite you to reflect on the way we engage with the extraordinary. Do we chase evidence, or do we embrace mystery? At the end of the day, whether you see it as divine prophecy, an elaborate setup, or just the power of faith colliding with imagination, there's no denying that the story has struck a nerve. And maybe that's the point. Sometimes the unbelievable doesn't need to be explained. It just needs to be felt. Now it's your turn. What do you believe happened in that church? Was it a miracle, a trick, or something in between? Share your thoughts, challenge your assumptions, and most importantly, let yourself be open to the possibility that the world still holds secrets waiting to surprise us. Because if one thing is certain, it's this: sometimes the most powerful stories aren't the ones we fully understand, but the ones that leave us questioning long after the light fades.